Greetings, YouTube. You know, a few things surprise me about YouTube anymore. Sometimes a video does great. Sometimes a video basically is invisible. But the culmination of a channel is not one great video or one terrible video, the best luck or the worst luck. It's about the community. And I received a Social Blade notification. If you're unfamiliar with Social Blade, it keeps track of views and subscribers, and I used to go on it like every day, and now I go on it maybe once or twice a month. I've kind of just become an autopilot YouTuber that, I'll get what I get. But I received notification that my channel has officially passed 30 million views. I cannot comprehend that. I remember the first time a YouTube video got 100 views, and I thought, 100 people watched this video about Oreos or pizza? In case you don't know the story, I think most people watching this do. I started off my YouTube channel for MCFC kind of like a joke, but more of just a reason to have a purpose outside of my teaching job, because I get the summers off and I have a lot of free time on my hands, and I was depressed and lonely, and I felt purposeless, and that was a dangerous place for my mental health to be. And so I started off a YouTube channel, never in a million years to make a penny, but to just have something to do. And I noticed that my favorite YouTubers that I looked up to for MCFC, they didn't review most of the deals that were in the game because they assumed that everybody knew that they were trash. But I would get messages in different line chats asking, hey, what do you all think of this new deal? Should I buy it? And I realized that Marvel Casino of Champions was such an addiction that people would buy any deal regardless of how bad it was. And so I wanted to be the reasonable voice to help people with their crystal opening addiction. And maybe I've succeeded, maybe I haven't. I don't know. But what I do know is that everything that my channel represents and all the best champions I have are because of you. YouTube, when I started, let's just rewind the clock. When I started, the face of my profile was a rank 5, now rank 4, thanks to the old school reference of rank down tickets. But all the way down here, rank 5, 4-star, Fatty McFatterson, Hulk Buster. This guy was my MVP. I didn't know much about the game. I'll admit, first couple years I played it, I didn't do anything. I was not really in an alliance. I was just casually playing it a couple hours a day. I mostly just ran the arena and tried to get a new 3-star champion. What a great strategy for success that is. And this guy was my MVP, and all I knew is that when I got to his special 3, I could cause a decent amount of damage. So, cool. Hulkbuster. Must be the best champion in the game, right? And then I got Guillotine, and I got the OG Captain Marvel movie Awakened. And I thought, boy, best roster in the game. Look out. Nobody can stop me now. Of course, I had very little skill and very little clue that my roster and actually my skill were beyond average. And so when I started my channel, if you look back on some of those original MCOC videos, the audio's terrible, my roster's terrible, my knowledge is terrible, everything's terrible. There's no reason logically why I should have a successful YouTube channel, and yet I do. And some of the things I've learned, it's worth failing if you try something. I never in a million years would have thought that a crystal opening commentary series where I get hundreds of requests, especially after July 4th, was actually something that people would want to invest in. Crystal opening commentaries don't work if you have no crystal openings to commentate. And I just assumed that nobody want me to give their hoarding videos play-by-play. And yet, that in some ways is now what some of you have told me is your favorite thing about my channel. You just see it as a way to highlight different summoners' luck and give it like a fun creative spin with a bunch of champion nicknames that I've tried to come up with. That's pretty cool. But what's even cooler is that when I look at the best champions in my roster, starting with Starkey, every champion has a memory tied to you all following a hunt or being there for a shocking surprise. Both times that I've landed on, and I'm really not trying to flex, but it's going to feel like that to some people. Both times that I landed on Dr. Doom were just crazy out of nowhere. The first being a featured Cavalier crystal that I popped after I'd opened a bunch of 3 stars. And then the second, I was ticked off because I hadn't got a single tier 5 class catalyst fragment crystal to be cosmic, because I thought for sure if there was one thing I could guarantee, it's the one thing that didn't happen in July 4th weekend, that I would have Corvus to rank 3. And yet I had all this, unexpected blessing to happen. But yeah, it's just, I look at the champion, I think there's a story there, and that story is also tied to not only my YouTube channel, but the support of that channel in general. I started this channel just wanting to lift my depression. Every day now I wake up and it's the best part of my day. Live streams, line-up messages, emails, Twitter, you name it. Just getting to interact with so many amazing people that if the game was gone tomorrow, if I received an email that said, YouTube is gone, no chance. If I couldn't make another video ever again, I know I still have people in this community that I will message and talk to and call when I'm down. I've gained so many friends from this community. And in a pandemic where everybody is struggling with anxiety and a risk of depression, MCFC has been my saving grace. This community's been my saving grace. So 30 million views is a lot to think about, but it's all about you, YouTube. And I cannot thank you enough. It's an incalculable amount of thank yous to put out there. You took a guy, and I consider myself, like some people say it as a negative, but I view it as a positive. Some people are like, Prof, I don't get why your channel has so many supporters when you're just an average dude that's not exceptional at the game. And to me, it's like, yeah, that's the point, right? And hopefully, if you're thinking that right now, watching this, you're thinking, well, that means I can do this thing too. And I didn't put thousands and thousands of dollars into starting a channel. I am speaking right now into a $100 microphone, which is probably worth more than the 10-year-old Mac computer that I got on eBay, refurbished and used, that desperately needs replacing. But point is, it doesn't take a lot of money and investment to start a channel. It just takes time and patience and the knowledge that you're going to struggle and you're going to sort of sound like you're sponsored by a vacuum cleaner because you're going to suck. And yet it's okay because you're going to grow and you're going to have fun. And maybe, just maybe one day you'll sit back and you'll get a notification like I did today that talked about X amount of views. And by the way, you can have 1 million subscribers, but if nobody watches your channel, who cares? What's kind of interesting about my channel is when I look at the analytics from time to time, over half of my views come from non-subscribers. I don't know if people hate watch me. I don't know if people are just bored. But if you're watching this and you're like, I've watched a lot of videos, I've never subscribed. I never say, hey, please subscribe to my channel. Like, I don't know. I almost feel like I'd be a subscription whore, if that's even a thing. Like, hey, if you want to subscribe, great. If you don't, great too. It's all about personal choice. But I just want to say, like, I have a moment for the first time in a while to just stop and reflect on the 3 years of success. And if I could go back 3 years ago and tell myself at my lowest point, after a failed engagement, after so many thoughts of just not wanting to continue down the road that I was continuing, after nights where I legitimately cried myself to sleep, just so convinced that I had no future. If I could tell myself where I am now, I would not believe it. I would think that I was on drugs, hard drugs. And I would think that if I could tell myself today what my 3-year past self could say, it would just say, just be thankful. Just be thankful and keep saying thank you, because it's a miracle that you are where you are today. And I truly believe that. And that miracle is that this community has embraced me, that they've stuck with me, and that they continue to support me in the future. And so here's to another 30 million views, or 3 years of MCFC, or however, Here's to the future, knowing that I no longer fear it, but instead I'm excited about it. And that's not because of me, YouTube. That's because of you.